Here we are, right?
Here we are!
Yeah.
Woo!
Excited.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've never done this before,
Yeah, it's
but
the first time, right?
yeah,
And,
but you got to do something for the first time.
that's right, and I think we'll do more just by the way.
You can do it for the second time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we just finished a series called Family Moving Forward.
We have.
A series on family and relationships. We thought it'd be really cool to take some questions and then just kind of talk about that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a format that you don't get to just casually talk right from the pulpit. Not that you're not being real, but
No.
you know what I'm saying.
The reality is, like, marriage is a big deal, and family is a big deal.
Huge deal.
One of the things sometimes we don't focus enough on it, because really, if we have a happy home, then life is way sweeter. And so what we want to do is we want to talk about this, and we'll be having a seminar or a course coming up too, right?
Yeah, the marriage series is coming up March 12th.
Yeah.
So you can sign up right now at church.ca. Under courses, and we encourage you, if you have a couple friends, it's a great opportunity just to sign up together, and then you'll grow in your faith, and you can just, when you sign up, say, hey, I want to be with this couple.
Yeah.
It's an awesome way.
What we wanted to do too is we didn't want it to be too long, so you know when it starts and you also know when it finishes. So it's 4 weeks, so it's not crazy long. So I think that everyone can commit to that, you know, and I think you'll benefit from it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so we got a few questions and a few comments we'd like to address and just elaborate on when it comes to healthy relationships, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, so the first question
Yeah.
for you, Claude, is how do you completely forgive and let go in a marriage relationship?
Well, the reality in marriage, there's going to be some conflicts. There's going to be some issues, right?
Yeah.
Because you got two different people coming from two different backgrounds or raised differently. So there's going to be some challenges, and it's to learn to navigate through it. The thing is, if you expect to see everything fall in place naturally or on its own, it's not. It could, but most of the time it won't, right? So the thing is, there's going to be things to forgive. That's a no-brainer. It's going to happen.
Wherever there's people, right?
Yeah, you'll have to learn to forgive. And I think it's there's some steps that you want to make and things that are important when it comes to forgiveness, because if you don't live in forgiveness, you'll live in bondage. So it's not really optional. Because if you live in unforgiveness or you live in bitterness, what's going to happen is it's going to prevent you of being you. And it's going to prevent you of showing love, because you'll have a wall, you'll have resistance preventing you of being who you're called to be.
Yeah.
You see, so it's a huge topic.
Yeah.
And I like the question because I think it's so relevant. We need to forgive all the time, and that refers to making a decision. You got to make a decision to forgive beyond your emotions.
Yeah.
You know, because waiting to feel to forgive, you might wait for a long time.
Yeah.
And also the feeling is not it's not the meter, or I'll try to say that well, it's not the proof that you have forgiven. It's not because you don't feel like you forgave, but you made a conscious decision to forgive. Well, this is where the process starts. It really starts there, and I think supernaturally or spiritually, something happens when you do let go.
Yeah.
And you got to decide to let go, and your emotion will follow through. But one of the things I think it's huge that sometimes this is where we drop the ball, is that we have to feed that forgiveness. You know, when you go before God, the next day, the next week, the next month, you got to look at growth. How can you forgive? You ask God's help. You look at the Word. You ask godly people how they've experienced forgiveness, because we all have to do with forgiveness. So the thing is, it's not going to happen by itself as much as forgiveness is an event, it's a moment, it's a decision you make in your will. But to experience a full healing, what you want is you want to address it between you and God. Like you have to feed healing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, just because you forgive doesn't mean like all of the feelings just start. I love you, like naturally
that's right.
again. But in marriage and in the Christian life in general, you're called to go beyond feelings. Right?
Exactly. So you got to feed yourself properly. Like how you think, you got to realign your thinking. And also the reason why you stay like with unforgiveness is because of how you like what you feed yourself with, right? Your thought, what you see, and what is around you. So you gotta change the pattern you think, and that's gonna happen when you let God in.
Yeah.
And it's not because you let God in once that it's done with. It's a journey.
Oh yeah.
You got to let God come in, and it's like seeing your kids. You don't see them grow, but they grow when you have a relative that comes and they haven't seen your kids for a long time when they're young. They say, "Oh, they have grown so much." But for you, it just came naturally because you're with them. It's the same thing with forgiveness. As you feed it, as you want to walk in it, as you want to release and show love, it's gonna come naturally as you feed it and as you let go. Because let go is a decision, and you got to remind yourself, I've got to let go.
Yeah.
One of the things I do is I talk to myself, Claude, let go, Claude, let go,
good.
and I think it works well.
Yeah. Because I think the devil will have that package of bitterness waiting for you to pick up again. Even after you rejected the shipment. You were like, no, I don't want this. He'll be ringing next day to want you to pick that up. And
I would agree. I like this thought that if there's a fruit, it's because there's a root. So the thing is, if I can see that I can't love properly, I've got to go before the Lord and say, God, why can't I love properly? And this is where you see that you might need more healing. Or you might need to surrender more. But at the same time, don't be too hard on yourself. Realize that it takes time. Like if you cut yourself, it takes a while before you have a scab, right? Before it gets healed up. So you get healed properly as time goes by. But it's time, listen to this, time doesn't heal. It's what you do in that time that heals.
That's really good. Yeah,
good stuff. So
at the end of the day, you have to look at God's grace. We were forgiven when we didn't deserve it.
Boom.
He's been patient with us time and time again, and that's the basis of forgiving everyone else. That's what God says. Forgive as I've forgiven you. At the end of the day, that's what He calls us to do. And He empowers us to do it.
That's right.
His grace is available for us to forgive.
I totally agree with that. That's good.
But the healing takes time.
There you go.
Intentional time. Okay, the next question. What are some ways to stay connected to your spouse while you're being parents?
That can be a challenge. Right?
I've got a puppy.
Yeah, you got a puppy. My kids are now out of the house, and now I have more time. But I remember back in the day where life was crazy busy, where we had 3 kids in the home, 2 kids that were very close in age. And then you have all these things, right, from shinny hockey to piano lesson to drums lesson through junior youth, and all these ministries that are fantastic that you want to see your kids in. So you want to see your kids grow, and then you have work on top of that, and church and all this. So there's lots that happens in life, right? So the thing is, you don't want to let life dictate. You don't want to be managed by life. You want to manage it. So I think that's very important. You gotta. One of the things that we did later in life, I would have liked to do that earlier in life, is work on a mission statement. What is our plan as a couple? What really matters?
So what are you protecting, right?
So what are you living for? And then you look at each other and you say, well, if I don't have a healthy marriage, it's going to affect the kids. One of the best ways of loving my kids is to love my wife. You see?
Totally.
If I love my wife the way she is called to be loved, it's going to influence the kids. It's going to create a safety environment, a security. My home will be a haven. It will be a nest. And not only that, other kids will want to be in our home because there's love, right? But that, again, is nurtured. So the thing is, you got to have a mission statement. You gotta set a value. You gotta set different values, right? The reality is that there's so many emergencies. Calling your name, Claude, Brenton. Got to do this, got to do that. But you got to realize that your priority are more important than emergencies. Sometimes, for sure, emergencies you got to respond to. They always yell out, but most of the priorities, they don't yell out. They don't yell after you. But the thing, you got to realize that if you don't establish good priorities in your life, it will influence how you will deal with the emergencies. Because if you go through a crisis and your love bank is empty, what do you give when you're empty? So let's say you don't spend time with your spouse, and you go through life, and then you hit a tree. then your love bank is empty.
Yeah.
So you got to fill your love bank, right? So you don't want to do life just running after the emergencies. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So what you want to do is you want to have priorities in life. And the last thing you want to do too, like at our stage where the kids are out, you don't want to be two strangers in the bed. Because all our life was about the kids.
Yeah.
So when the kids are not there, so you don't have nothing in common.
Yeah,
so you're turning your back to your wife, and then, well, that's sad.
Yeah.
So you don't want to see that. So you got to nurture it, and there's different ways to do that, because sometimes we say we don't have time. Yeah, we all have the same amount of time.
24 hours.
Not more, not less, right?
On Sunday, 1 less hour.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, this Sunday. But the thing is, you got to decide what you're going to do with your time.
Yeah.
You see? Like, you might have a hockey game playing, or you might have a home decor show playing. Yeah. And we say we need our time or our own time. And sometimes we got to decide what's more important.
Yeah, if we're too addicted to wasting time, then we're going to have a lot less time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the reality is that I think it's a lie to say that we don't have enough time.
True. Oh, yeah.
No, it's all about what you live for. We all live for something. We all pursue things. So sometimes we have to sit and look at what do we really value.
Totally.
And then when you look at marriage, again, it's worth fighting for, but it's really worth your time.
Oh, yeah.
It's an investment.
Yeah.
So I will go even to the point where when you go for a date with your wife or with your husband, it's not wasted money. No. It's investing. You're awesome. Investing in each other. Going for a walk. I know personally, I don't like to go for a walk. Like to walk and not go anywhere.
Yeah.
I like to go and walk to someplace. Yeah. Like even jogging, I like to jog to someplace, not like just jogging.
Scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. To run after or to skate after a puck, it's a lot easier than just to run after nothing, right? Yeah. So the thing is, I've got to realize when my wife says, Claude, you want to go for a walk? There's a purpose on the walk. Yeah, yeah. I'm not going anywhere.
There's a goal to be had.
Yeah, that's right. And it's the journey is, like the thought is, the journey is as important as the destination, right? So the thing is, you want to enjoy time together, so you got to spend time. Yeah. And the thing is, you probably heard this before, that quality is found in quantity. Like when someone gets spend quality time, but really you don't define when it's quality. It's found in quality. And quality expresses quantity. You see? So you want to have quantity. In that quantity, you'll find quality. Yeah. But you can't decide, oh, let's have quality time and make it happen. It's just be yourself, but you got to invest time in that time spent. There's going to be quality time, yeah. And what's going to happen is that you will build in your memory frame of your mind. You're putting all kind of frames up of what happened in life, and when things get rough or where there's some challenges, you will see these frames in your head, yeah. And that will prevent you of. That will give you joy, and one, it will give you joy, but also will give you the energy to fight for what really matters. Yeah, yeah.
And there's those habits that, like watching TV, where time just goes by and it's not really quality. Then there's my personal habits of hey, I want to go watch sports with the guys, and those are both of those are fine, but you gotta find habits together, like that. Exactly. Going for a walk, find something that's gonna be a quality time, something you both enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's also like for example, I don't enjoy playing board games, but in specific times I don't have a choice to play board game because it's part of our agreement. And the thing is, when we start to play, I like to win, right? Yeah. So I play to win, especially when I win. It's a lot way more fun. Yeah, it sucks when you lose. So the thought of doing things like agreeing to say, okay, if we go on our holidays, Michelle will bring her crib board and all this, and she's got her bag and she's all excited, and I look at it, I'm not excited, but I made a commitment that we're on holidays, I can't say no. Ouch.
She made that.
Yeah, I know. But now I really enjoy it because I make her happy and I'm having fun in the process, right? So it's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, it's an attitude.
You can't have it all. You can't always win.
No, if you don't like walking, just start liking it.
Yeah.
Your wife is there. It's nice outside.
Exactly.
It's not hard.
Exactly, and that's the mindset. You got to make it work so that you just do it, and then you know what? It's like emotions; they follow after decisions. That's the same thing as worship. If we take that little rabbit trail, don't wait for your emotions to be on board for worship to worship God. Start to worship, and your emotion will kick in. Yeah, it's the same thing when it comes to that. That's awesome. But so hopefully that you will be able to spend time together because it's really worth it. Yeah. Cheer. Good stuff.
Do you have any advice on communication and how to communicate well in a marriage? I'm just going to leave it open-ended.
There you go. Like I like to see communication in a marriage like learning a new language. Like I would like to speak Spanish. Yeah, tough. I'd like to speak Spanish. Yeah. It would be so nice to go beyond "Hola, muchacho." It would be so amazing. And but it takes effort to learn the language. I took some courses for basically 4 months in Spanish, learning Spanish, and it was so cool. But if I don't practice it, if I don't go deeper, then I'm just stuck with a few words that are useful when you travel. Yeah. But you can't really have a dialogue with someone else. So communication is really a language that you learn, and we're all wired differently. Like my wife is more a painter than me. Like I'm more a pointer. She's a painter. Let's say for example, what is that? Yeah, like for example, let's say I go to a pastor's conference and she didn't have the chance to come with me. I'm going to come back from the conference and she's going to ask me, Claude, so how was the conference? And I'll say, it went super. It was awesome. It was good.
That's it.
I'm done. I said it all. Right? There's nothing more to say because it was good. Or let's say it wasn't good. I'll say, I won't go next time. And then she's going to look at me and say, well, what do you mean? Well, I just said it. I'm not going to go next time. It's not worth going again. So I'm a pointer and she's a painter. She tells me a story. She paints. She gives me details, she takes rabbit trails, and she gives me color, and she gives me all the info that I don't really want to know because I'm not a painter. Yeah. I'm a pointer. Like for me, it's go to the point. Yeah. But for her, the painting is as important as going to the point. So then you have to learn to paint, or you have to learn to go to or to point, right? Yeah. So mostly we do attract the opposite, right? So there's a good chance that if you're married, one will be a painter and the other will be a pointer. And the beauty of that is we complement each other. But really, it's important to work at it and to realize that the more you communicate, what you do is you're removing the gray zones. Because most problems that we have in marriage, it's unmet expectations that were not clearly defined. Yeah. For example, let's say I invite you for supper, and I don't specify it's at 7, and you show up at 6. I'm going to say to you, like, we'll go back home. You're too early. I'm not ready, right? Or let's say we have a supper at 5. And I'm waiting for you, and the supper is just ready to go. A good steak is waiting for you, and then it's ready to go. Like a steak, you can't wait too long, right? It's when it's ready to, when it's warm, if it has sat for a while, and maybe 15 minutes or so, it's ready to eat, and then you don't show up. I'm mad at you. But the reason is, it's not your fault because I never specified the time, right? So if I tell you come early, what is early to you? Is it half an hour? Is it 10 minutes, 15 minutes? So it's important in communication to remove the gray zones. To give less place to interpretation. Yeah. So I think that's huge. Yeah. Because the battles and the fights that we have in marriages most of the time is that we didn't hear properly, or it's because the information was not properly given. Yeah. And we create expectations. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I think with communication too, like in a marriage especially, like my wife thinks differently, and sometimes I think for her. Okay. And sometimes I try to be like, oh, this is how she's thinking, but I just don't know.
That's right.
And I just need to ask, like, what are you thinking? And if she's feeling something, I can't say no, you're not feeling that.
Yeah,
just because I don't think she should be feeling that. If she's feeling something, I want to hear her out.
Yeah, it's good.
And then try to understand. And I find the more that I do that, the more I start to realize, okay, she's different, and I don't understand her, and I never will, because I don't even understand myself. but the more I actually do understand how to honor her, how to love her, when I do actually ask. When she expresses how she's feeling, and I legitimize it. I don't just say, no, you're not feeling that. It's like, no, okay. Why? Help me to understand you. And that.
I think you brought a good topic of understanding.
Yeah.
And I think if we ask questions to understand what do you mean, and what you're trying to say, instead of jumping to conclusions.
Yeah, you're bridging that gap.
Oh, yeah, that is so huge. So that means that you got to learn to listen.
Yeah.
And not only think about what you're going to say when the other person is talking. That means they're not really listening, right?
Yeah.
So if you forget what you're going to say and you were listening well, it's not a bad thing. Because your thought will come back.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that you gave full concentration on what the other person is trying to communicate.
Yeah.
And so you got to give room to listening. But I like what you said. I think that's a huge component. It's understanding.
Yeah.
But that takes time, because it's a lot easier to come to conclusion and to expect the person to think that the person is thinking like what you're thinking.
Exactly.
And then you come to a conclusion, and then you put words into her mouth, or his mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's good. So the thing is, when it comes to communication, don't quit. It's like learning a new language, right? It takes a while, but you get good at it. And it comes to a point that you might even finish one another's sentences. That's creepy when that happens. When you start to look alike, that's that's a little.
Each other's sandwiches.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if that's good.
Only if you're healthy.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we encourage you to just don't quit, right? If it's not because you spell let's say you call it. Think about the story where this guy was trying to learn Spanish and he said it wrong and it meant something not good. It was kind of funny. It's okay, you learn. Hey, you learn from your mistakes, so you grow together. And one of the big thing is to be gracious. You got to be gracious. You got to give room for mistakes.
Yeah.
If you don't give room for mistakes, then you will be totally disappointed, because this challenge is that we're not perfect.
Yeah.
And we have a baggage. We all have. We all leak.
Yeah, exactly.
We all have cracks.
Totally.
Yeah. So we encourage you to work at it and not to give in and not to give up, and don't seal yourself like an oyster, like an oyster. Yeah, there you go, oyster. I was looking for that word. So don't react. Don't do that. Realize that you need to open up. You need to open up.
Yeah.
And go before God. Let God inspire you. And I think staying open and keeping your heart healed up is huge. So this is why it's important to live a life of confession.
Yeah.
Making sure that you don't carry stuff, right? It's important not to carry stuff. Yeah. Good stuff.
And to help the others stay open, always keep your love on, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes keeping your love on, and that's one of the most important things in communication. Because even if I'm right, but I didn't keep my love on, I'm wrong. At the end of the day.
So imagine if your goal is to win in communication, what are you winning?
Yeah.
You won an argument, and then you have
lost.
Yeah, you lost so much, right?
Yeah.
So again, I'm not talking here that you should be a carpet where you always agree. I think you gotta be yourself. I think one of the things when it comes to communication that is huge is we need to embrace respect.
Yeah, you always speak the truth, but there's that love there.
Yeah, you gotta respect each other. Again, you need to have rules of engagement, and I talked on that really quickly on Sunday, is that we need to have rules of engagement where there's things that we're not allowed to say. There's things that you can't say because it's not edifying. So if it's not edifying, if it's putting down, if it's pointing the finger, if it's you, if it brings condemnation, don't say it. Use a way to build. Use your words to build, not to tear down.
Yeah.
It's already rough in the world. We don't want to make it rough in our nest at home. So home should be a refuge. So then we have to have rules of engagement where we say, okay, hey, we're not allowed to say that. We're not allowed to say this because and I want to bring communication in a positive way by building up, by focusing on reconciliation and healing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, because that's a huge topic, right? Communication,
Massive. Yeah.
And I think it's one of the things that we struggle the most with.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have a reaction, we have a tendency to do like Adam and Eve. It's to run away.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You know,
That's
we,
what you see,
we
right?
screw up, we run away,
Hide.
we shut. Yeah, we hide. That's what we do, right?
Put some figs on. Fig leaves.
Yeah. There you go. Good stuff.
All right. So another question: how do you love your family and spouse when you feel you're exhausted after coming home from
Wow.
work? You left everything at the job.
Yeah, well, that's one of the challenge we have because we give the remaining of ourselves to our spouse. We give our best outside of the house, basically.
Yeah, we wake up and we go.
We give. I'm more productive in the morning, and most morning I'm not at home.
Yeah.
So I give, and I come home.
So we got to find evening jobs.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So the thing is, we got to realize that we give our leftovers in many occasions. So how do we do this, right? How do we do this? And the reality is that if you're married and if you have a family, you have a commitment. So again, you can't just do life based on your feelings. So there's things that you got to do because you got to do, right? At the same time, there's different tricks. I like marashlope or having a siesta, right?
Yeah.
If I can have a little siesta, just close my eyes for half an hour, it's unreal what it does, right?
Yeah.
And there's a partnership too, right? We can, when it comes to the kids, you can pass the ball. You can run for a while, and then you take a little breather, and then you have your wife or your husband carry the ball for a while. And one of the things that I think it works well is that you've got to focus on having a plan, because you cannot always be on your A game.
Mm.
So I don't think you can be always on every night.
Yeah, you can be loving, but you're just tired. Yeah, you're exhausted.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you choose. Yeah, you do plan. We react. We respond. Sometimes we act by default.
Yeah.
You see, we just go with the flow.
Yeah.
But I think that we can plan. You can say, okay, how does you look on Sunday and say, how will my week look like? And you have a good idea which days are hard, which days are a little looser or a little easier. Then you go accordingly, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't want to do life by default. You want to be proactive. You want to, like, let's say for having a date with your wife, if you just wing it, it's not a bad thing. But you also have to plan, otherwise it's never going to happen. Yeah. It's the same thing spending time with the kids and having quality time with the kids. You have to gauge yourself and look at your week, because there's some nights that just being there, it's an effort.
Yeah. Totally.
Just showing up and to be there and there.
Yeah.
Because you can be there and not being there, right? So just that is an effort. And there's some other days, well, you're on your knees and you can even wear your pants, because you've been running on your knees for so long. Right? But I think that one of the big things that I look back now that I struggle with, it's to plan ahead. Yeah. Okay, how do I have evening meetings? Okay, how can I compensate when it comes to the days and all that? And I map myself. I've got to map it out, because otherwise, one of the big things that I dealt with, I don't know if you do, if those that are watching, is that you feel condemned or you feel never good enough. And so you got some people that can escape, and you can get some people that feel they never do enough, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to gauge yourself. Not one is better than the other. So what you need to do, one of the best way is to plan your week, and at the same time, you got to commit, and at the same time, you do your best.
Yeah, and I think when you get home and you're struggling, yeah, you just have to know yourself. Like, when can I step beyond my energy and function, and when is it time to just I need a little break. Yeah. Communicate that, make an understanding, and as long as you both trust each other that you're bringing your best effort, I think there's going to be understanding there, right? But that's what you want to do. You want to bring your best effort. You do that at work. You bring, hopefully, if you're a good worker, you bring your best, and that's what you want to do when you enter the house too. Yeah. It might look a little different. You might be a bit more tired, but you can still,
And I think coming back to the point that it's not really an option. That's when you chose to have a wife or a husband, when you chose to have kids, it's part of the package.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it's good because it teaches you how to be selfless.
Yeah, exactly.
And you need to be selfless.
And you're investing in lives, and and the thought that God gave us people in our lives to care for, you got to go beyond your own wants and your own desires, because we would have all the reasons in the world just to find excuses.
Yeah.
You got to go beyond that because of the people that are important in your life. So you just go the extra mile. And the thing too, ask God to give you strength. Ask God to help you out in this. One of the things you can do though is that when you arrive at home, let's say you park your car in the garage, like before you come in, just take a breather. Just say, God, give me the grace now to enter home. And you don't want to bring your home with your work at home, where you're consumed by what happened during the day. Take a little breather. Like, pray, put yourself before God before you enter in. And you know what? Come in with a smile. Look at your wife or at your kids with the biggest, this is what they really remember. In an evening, whatever you do, it's your presentation is huge. I'm not saying that you should fake, but you come in and you give them eye contact, you give them a smile, you take them in your arms, you give a kiss, you give a hug, and they will feel valued. And they will be valued because that's what you're doing. But that's going to go a long way.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to go a long way. Because the reality is, sometimes we think that people around us are asking so much. They're not asking that much. They just want you to be there and to give attention and focus. And sometimes I think that's a problem. We think we got to be like the best clown, the best builder, the best hockey player. And sometimes we don't even try because we think that that's what their expectation is. I think about Christmas. Who says that certain gifts are good enough when it comes to kids? You look at a kid that's 5 years old, does he really care about how much you paid for the gift?
He likes the box.
Yeah, exactly. But it's for us. And sometimes we have high expectations, and because we aim so high, we don't aim at all.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah. You just say, well, is it really worth it? Yeah. It goes a long way when you just show up and you are yourself and you just value the person before you. It doesn't mean that you got to build something every night.
Yeah.
You see? But I would encourage you to prepare yourself mentally before you step in the house. Because you're creating the mood, right?
Yeah.
You come in and if you're happy, you're joyful, it's going to influence your mood. But if you come in crabby, critical, because the shoes is there and the coat is not in the closet, and then you come out, you know what? You're creating that move. You're creating a defensive environment, and that's not good. Yeah, there's things that the kids are called to pick up and all that, but there's a time to do that. Especially don't do that when you come in.
Yeah.
Value the people before you value things and what you prefer. You like to have a house in order, that's fantastic. But what's more important than house in order is the people that are with you. You can teach them, but first you got to connect with them. I don't think that you can really teach them without connecting.
Yeah, no.
You see? So if I connect with them and they see that you value them before what they're called to do, they're going to do way more. And it's not a trick here to get people do what you want. But when you value them, it's all about that. How much we want to be valued by God. Right? We want to be valued, and we are, but that's so important to be valued. And that's one of the message that is so important to preach, but where people have a problem to assimilate or to absorb is to be valued by God. So the same thing with my kids and my wife. She wants to be valued. So, prepare yourself before you go in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that's good.
One last question. How do you connect spiritually with each other when you're not used to being open with praying or talking about things of God, or you've lived a very private faith life.
Yeah,
where you pray at meals, but not much more with other people.
Well, it's like anything else in life. You got to start somewhere, and there's things. It comes back to be focus driven or emotional driven. And you got to come out. It's not a choice. You say, well, I'm not like this. I'm not wired like this. But change. Ask God to change you. And you have to. Again, sometimes we aim so high. And we think we have to be like such or this super spiritual person that and you think that if you're not like them, then it's not worth doing it. Be yourself. Like, God is not impressed with our vocabulary.
No.
I think He's impressed with our heart. It's the same thing when you connect. And you got to be careful not to be on the other end too, where you expect much or you compare your. Let's say, and that will be the typical thing, because usually it's the wife that wants to pray and the man is more resistant. You got to be careful if you're the wife, what kind of expectation you're putting on your man, right? Let him be himself. Be careful not to always trap him and correct him and always add, because he's going to shut himself down, because he's going to see himself as not being good enough. You see? Give him room to be himself. And if it starts by a little bit, well, be happy with that, right? Yeah. And I'm not saying that it's wrong to poke. I think it's good to poke, because you're not poking for yourself. You're not poking for a selfish desire. You're poking for the best of your family. So I'm not saying don't poke, but the way you poke and what you expect, I think, can play. So that's one part. But the other part is that you've got to go out of your comfort zone, because you have to be verbal. You can't be guessed. It can't be imagined. You've got to do it. It's like anything else in life. You've got to put it out there. So it's a question of growth. It really is. Yeah. Yeah. You got to grow. I will say you have to grow out of it.
Yeah. And being out of your comfort zone, it's the place to be, because that's where God is, right?
That's right.
Where He steps in when we go beyond ourselves.
Exactly. And so when it comes to spirituality, you've got to do it also because of your kids, because it's more than you. It's your kids too, and I think that's an important factor. Also, there's also the timing to do that, right? You got to find the time. You got to look at what works for you. Like, let's say some of us are night owls. Like we get spiritual and we get talkative when it's 11 at night, and others, they shut down at 10. So what do? You got to come to a compromise. And sometimes you got to set a date to say, okay, we're going to do this there, we're going to do this at that time in that place. So you got to talk about things, because if you have an expectation for your husband to be alert and vibrant at 11 o'clock, and if he got up at 5, it's not going to work. Yeah. You know, so it's talking things through. It's a lot of things in life. It's logic. It's just common sense, right? Yeah. But I think it comes back to the topic we had about communication. Yeah. You got to communicate and also express your needs, right? Instead of pushing something, express your need. I need your leading, hubby. Lead me in a prayer. Like, want to read me something. Yeah. Like, express your need, and I think that weighs way deeper than forcing and creating expectation. But by the way, you got to make sure that you don't get guilt trips too. Yeah, do that in the right way. Yeah, that's right. Express the need in it. That's right. If you need a devotional book, I don't think there's anything wrong with something like that to lead you, and then let that spark more conversation. Yeah, one of the things we did at one point is that we did the 5 languages of love together. And as I've preached on it, and I've talked about it. I think it's a great book by Gary Chapman, and we've never did it together. And when we were on holidays one year, we took the book and we read a chapter a day, and we had deep conversation. Actually, that opened the door to deeper conversation for the future. And that was like how many years? 15 years after we were married or so. So it was life-giving. It was very, very good. So you can do things like this. Yeah, 15 years, and you can still so much to learn about each other and God. Yeah. So we're talking about how do we read love, right? What is love for me? And anyway, have a chance. That's a great book, but there's other great devotional, great material that you can use to trigger conversation and also help us to open up, because it's all about opening up. Yeah, it's all about opening up. And one of the reasons why we don't pray together, one of the reasons why we don't do things together is because we carry things in our hearts. So that's why it's important to go before God and let God heal our hearts. Yeah, our heart. Yeah, and when someone shares something hard, the easiest thing you can do is just listen and then pray. Yeah, you don't need to fix it. Yeah, exactly. The best thing is listen and then pray, and you've done your part then. Yeah, yeah. Unless you can do something, then maybe try. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, for sure. And if you did, maybe we'll do it again. Yeah, I think we will if we have any feedbacks. Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Tune
stuff.
in next week when we talk about
Something.
something.
That's going to be good.
Probably not next. I don't know.
No, I don't know when, but we will do it again.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Yeah, and we just pray blessings on your families, on
Yeah,
your relationships.
Absolutely.
Consider attending the marriage series. I think it's
Absolutely.
there's a lot of good stuff there for you guys.
And marriage is worth the work.
It's the best. Best.
So blessings on you guys. Thank you, man. That was great.
Yeah.
Great time.
Boom. See ya.